Hey everybody, it's me, Undead Viking. I want to take some time out of your day to tell you about this game. It is called Gateway Uprising. This is a game with fantastic art. You can see in the front there, that's one of the cards that's actually in the game. And the rest of the game is very much the same way. The artwork is very evocative and interesting. It's a weird combination. I'm not even going to say like cyberpunk or something like that, or steampunk, because it kind of like it to me was a little bit of like the old Ralph Bakshi movie Wizards, combined with like a kind of crazy futuristic but fantastic D&D campaign that had a lot of fish people walking around. Now, I hope that makes some sense to you, but that's kind of the feel that I got from the game when I played it. So the game is a deck builder. It is strangely for 2 or 3 people, very odd number of player number, which is cool. For a while there, when I was younger, I was collecting, I shouldn't say younger, but when I first got into the hobby, I was collecting 3-player games. I always kind of dug the idea of games that were specifically for 3 players, and there were a few out there, and this is one of those games that it strangely works really well with 3 people, and it's such a odd number, and such a less used genre, I guess, of game, if you will. But the game works perfectly fine as a 2-player as well. But it is a deck-building game in which each person is controlling a faction that is trying to take over the city of Gateway. They are the rebels, and they're trying to, they're warring against the ruling faction of the city. Now, complicating that fact is the fact that there is this horde of evil creatures that is invading the city at the same time, and they are also trying to corrupt and destroy and take control of the city. So not only do you, one, have to do better than the other people that are playing, you also have to be able to take out the entrenched ruling class that's in the city, and also you have to fight this horde of creatures that is also attacking. So you have multiple combats going on and different factions warring constantly, and suffice to say, the game it moves really quickly, and it also tells a fantastic fun little story as you play. So let me show you how to play the game. If you've played a deck building game before, I don't think you're going to have a lot of difficulty with this. There are some like little hoops that you have to jump through, but for the most part I think it's pretty straightforward. And then we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly what I think of Gateway Uprising. Alright, cool. I have set up a 2-player game of Gateway Uprising. I'm just going to kind of explain to you what you see, and then I'll go through the mechanisms of the game. Alright, so you randomly choose 4 city districts in the case of a 2-player game. In a 3-player game, you'll have 6 city districts. You get plenty more. You get a total of 8, so you're never going to use all of them in a single game. When you control a city district, you get a special power that they have. Like 4th City does 2 damage to a target. A free Rune Stone costing up to 3 gold if you have Smoketown. And you get that ability, even if you control multiple districts, you only get to use one of the district's abilities that you control. But you can take those over. And you place the districts out. The first thing you do is you draw a City Guard card for each of the locations. Now, occasionally you'll draw a City Guard card that'll give you other things to do. Like there is one that tells you to draw another City Guard card, and so he like adds to the defense or whatever. And remember, you are the rebels, right? And so you're trying to take over this city. You're trying to control the districts and become that faction that controls it after the revolution. So the city guards are your enemies. You're trying to take them out. And you can see on these, like here's this Deus Templar, and it has attack value, which is 2. It has a defense value of 4. You have to defeat that to defeat it. And then it has 2 victory points. If you defeat the city guard, you would take a 2 victory points out of the victory point pile over here. So that's what that is. And you set this up. You'll also notice that there's these hexagons with the numbers, and a couple of these with an X. You randomly distribute those because when you draw an event, after everybody's having a turn, you draw an event, and that will instruct you to place either a City Guard card or a Horde card onto a location, and that'll either bolster what is there. So like if there's already a City Guard in a location, and you draw a city card that you place there, you make it stronger. If you draw a horde card for one that hasn't already had a horde, you will actually do battle. Like a horde card and a city card would do like a non-player character battle, basically. And also, if a player has control over that location, then they would of course do battle with whatever is invading that spot. Okay, as with a lot of deck building games, you have your basic cards, and these are the basic cards over here that are always going to be present in every single one of your games. However, to begin the game, you only have merchant cards, rebel cards, and one runestone card. Now, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but just quickly, you have these defender cards and a Saloran cart. Now I'm just going to show you like a defender card. It has a price down here, and since it is an insurgent, meaning it is a combatant, it has 2 attack, it has 3 defense, and this little 1 up here, that's the power it takes to play that card. During your turn, you always have 1 power, but occasionally you'll have other cards that will increase the amount of power that you have. So you have to buy other cards to make your deck better. Now you'll notice I'm just going to show you this Saloran cart card here. The Saloran cart, you can see it gives you +2 gold. It costs 3 to buy one, but you notice it has a 0 up here for the power, meaning that if you have multiple ones of these in your hand, you can just keep putting them down. And a lot of cards have 0 power, like this merchant here as well, which you start with in your hand. Now over here you have the 9 cards. This is the tableau, if you will, of the cards that you're going to be choosing from as you build up your deck. There's a wide variety of cards. There are the insurgents, obviously, that like this mobile wizard tower that costs 8, so it costs quite a bit, but it has 5 attack and 5 defense, and it's pretty cool, and obviously very powerful if you're going to be using it to try to take something over. And of course you also have cards like this, the traveling wizards, and they cost 1 power to put down, but you notice it gives you +1 gold, gives you another draw, +1 power, and +1 power, and +1 draft. And draft is when you draft the cards over here. So I'm just kind of showing you those different options. And the artwork for this is really, really cool. Now, one last thing before I actually show you how you do a turn is the runestones down here. They come in 3 varieties, costing 3, 5, and 8, lesser, normal, and greater. And you can never look through the decks over these, because these are random. I'm going to show you this, and normally during a game you could never show this. But so here's a runestone, discarding a number of your cards in your hand, draw that many cards from your deck. And, here's another draw stone, but here, like an ice stone, freeze a district for 1 round. And that's what these freeze tokens are right over there. And then, the gold stone, double your gold this turn. So you have these special powers and these special abilities of these runestones, and they're kind of a one-shot magic item. You use them and then they're gone. And so the reason why you can't see below you is because when you purchase one, you don't know what you're going to be showing to the other player. So they're kind of they're rare and full of chaos and well, magic, because magic is technically not allowed, and it's illegal to be casting spells or whatever, and magic is really rare, and so that's how the magic is represented in this game. So, you start the game with your deck. You have several merchant cards, you have several rebel cards, and you have 1 randomly drawn runestone, and then you draw 6 cards. And just like if you've played a deck building game before, this is probably not going to be a big surprise to you as far as how this game works. But so you look through your cards, and then you start looking at what you're going to spend and what you're going to play. And so you have 1 power to start with, and then you to play out your cards. And so in this case, your 1 power, we have a ton of merchant cards that give us 1 gold each, and we have 1 rebel card that costs 1 to put down. So what we can do is we can put that 1 rebel card down in front of us. Now the interesting thing about whenever you put down either a runestone or an insurgent, a rebel, a combatant, they stay in front of you until they're either used up, in the case of runestone, in which case they are trashed and they're gone forever, or if they are in battle and they get defeated, then they go into your discard pile. So you'd place that down, and like I said, we have these 5 merchant cards. You'll place all 5 of those, because remember they have 0 for power. You put all 5 of those down, and there you go. And so you've used those up as far as your turn goes. So the second thing you're going to do, since you've deployed all of your hand, is now you have the draft phase, and you're going to use those 5 gold coins to purchase a card. Now, if you had more than one draft, say you had a traveling wizard and you had that card and you had more than one draft, you had the option of like splitting that up, and you could buy 1 card for 2 and 1 card for 3. But since we only have 1 buy, we have to figure out what we want to buy for 5. And I kind of like these blunderbuss mages because they're kind of powerful, and they do a lot of damage when they attack. They have attack value 5, defense of 1. They do cost 5. I spent 5, but it's a pretty good soldier to have in front of you. So I'm going to buy that, put that in my discard pile, and I place that down. Now I have moved into the attack phase, and when you go into the attack phase, you have the option of attacking one of the locations out on the board and trying to defeat what is there. Now in this situation, I've only got 1 rebel, and so I have attack value of 1, and I have a defense of 2. Well, I can't defeat anything that's out there. Everything that is available to me, even the weakest one, has a defense of 2, meaning my attack value of 1 isn't going to help. I don't have a runestone that can increase my power in any way, so I'm not going to be able to do an attack because it won't do any good to do an attack this turn. So then after you've done that, you do your cleanup phase, which is you take all of your stuff, you put it to the side, and then you wait for your opponent to do another turn. In which case, then also, you're going to be drawing another 6 cards. And so when the next turn comes, now I'm just going to show you this quick. So now we have 3 rebels, so we have a few out there. We have 2 of these, and we have our armor stone, which was our weak, like our low level stone. So our next turn comes, and I didn't play the other player's turn, but that they could probably do it. Before I do that, I apologize. I need to show you the event. Got a little bit ahead of myself. So after the other person goes, at the end of my turn, and I turn this over, and I see I'm deploying 1 city guard to district spot 5. So I'm going to draw a city guard card, like so. And so now we have a guard captain. He has a 2 and 2, but also it says draw an additional guard card and place in the same district. So now goes to number 5. So they're going to have plenty of things there to fight. So now we have 3 separate cards that are going to be protecting the harbor town. So probably not going to be attacking that one anytime soon. But now, getting back to my turn, I do apologize for that. So we have our cards, and so like we have an armor stone. That costs 0, so you might as well put that one down, right? And we have these 3 rebel cards, and it would be great to have them all out there, but we only have that 1 power, so we can put our second rebel card down, like so. And then we have 2 merchants, and so we can put those down because they're 0, and we have 2 gold. So we have these 2, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to play those, and at the end of the turn, if you can't have any cards in your hand you can't play, you have to discard those as well. But in this situation, now that I've placed those down, now I have 2 gold, and I can draft something. I am going to play the Witchmasker. Why? Because it costs 1 to play, but it gives you plus 2 power, so it allows you to play 2 more cards and gives you gold, plus it costs 2. It's a really solid card to have there. And now I have a situation where I can do an attack. And I can actually successfully attack this spot here, the gardens. Because of the fact that it's being defended by something with a defense of 2 and an attack of 1. I can say both of my rebels are going to attack. They have an attack value total of 2, 1 and 1, and then both of them have a defense of 2. So they're going to have a total of 2 attack against the guard. They're going to take him out and destroy him. And you'll notice that he has an attack value of 1. Doesn't matter which one he decides to attack, he's not going to be able to defeat them. The rebels are still fine. We'll go ahead and put him in the discard over here. And you'll also notice that he was worth 1 victory point to show that. So we're going to take that victory point and we're going to keep that. And so we have that at the end of the game. Now I can take one of my symbols that shows, I'm going to pick this one, this is my symbol for showing, I show that I control the gardens. And now when it's my turn again, I get to have a draw on there. And so, now you might be wondering, I'm not placing any of my units into the spot that is there. That is because of the fact that your units are just kind of considered to be very mobile, and they defend whatever gets attacked. So all you do is place a token on there. However, in the case of the Horde or the City Guard, you actually do place the cards in that spot. Now, on my next turn, my opponent might decide to attack the gardens. And then at that point, I get to decide whether or not I'm going to defend. Now, you never get a choice to, like, say, I'm only going to attack with, like, one of my guys or anything like that. It is an all-or-nothing type of attack that you're going to go ahead and move in to take those things out. You can't ever, like, kind of split those up, if you will. And it is possible to get multiple attacks as well. But then, of course, you resolve the attack and go on and do the next one. The game will continue like this. Now, a lot of times in these types of games that it is like after you've used up a certain number of these cards and you know, depleted some of these decks, that's not the case. This game ends one of two ways. Either you get through the entire event deck, and then at that point, after the last one is done, you then total up the victory points and see who wins. Or if the Horde, and I didn't actually show you, the Horde are like basically this invading force, these monsters that are attacking. And if the Horde ever controls all of the locations on the board, so like let's say the next event, let's see what we get here. It's a Horde. Okay, cool. So, one Horde monster deploys to District 2. So it actually would go to the one that I control. So if we have a Horde, we have this colossal squid beast. Well, I'm going to lose this one. And so what's going to happen is that colossal squid beast is going to move into that location, and it is going to attack me, and frankly, both of my guys are going to be done. I'm not going to be able to defend against that. And so the colossal squid beast would move into that location and take it over. And it's worth 4 victory points, obviously, if you're trying to take that one down. But obviously, then now the Horde controls that spot. It is important to remember, of course, that even though my valiant rebel troops would be defeated in that battle, they are not killed. They are just merely placed in my discard pile. They aren't, like, trashed, to use the terminology that you use during these deck building games. But anyway, so here's a situation where now we have one of those spots controlled by the Horde. If they manage to control all 4 spots at any time at that point, then the game is over and the players lose because they are unable to, you know, save their city from being taken over, you know, by the rampaging army of the Horde. That's actually happened in one of the games that we played. It's kind of tough for that to occur, just basically because most people are going to focus on those when they show up because they're worth the victory points, and plus they don't want to lose the game. But in a very bad turn of events, it could very well happen. Now, I'm going to show quickly with the event deck, and I'm sure the artwork is going to be different once the game is published, but the events do come in differing abilities. So like event card 1, the first few are going to be, you know, just one card you draw and place. When you get to about the middle, you have event card 2, and then, you know, you get multiple, you know, it's 2 Horde monsters deployed to District 2, or 1 Horde monster deployed to District 3 and District 6, things like that. And then when you get to like level 3, you have 2 Horde monsters deployed to 4, 5, and 6, so you get more and more. Or like 2 Horde monsters deployed to District 1 and 2 and District 3, and 2 City Guards deployed to, so you have like a lot more monsters and City Guard, you know, showing up and you know, to do battle with the people that are controlling it. Now, so there you go. I mean, if I hadn't lost this on my turn, I could have used the Garden's ability to do an extra draw, which I could have drawn an extra card from my deck for it to use. You just continue playing the game, as I said, until either you lose the entire city or you get through the event deck. And if you manage to get through the event deck, then you can check and see how many victory points you have, and whoever has the most wins the game. This is one of those rare games that includes a mechanism, a base mechanism, that I thought I had grown tired of. Deck building. For the longest time, deck building games were all the rage. It seemed like everybody that had, 27 different pieces of card art and half an idea had a deck building game out there. And some, you know, turned out to be pretty good, and some of them were, you know, really fantastic. And then there were others that were just kind of like, why'd you bother? So I'm always a little leery when somebody says, oh, hey, I got this cool new deck building game I want to show you. And I'm like, well, okay, well, you know, show it to me, because I'm always willing to, like, try out a game and see what it's like and see what it brings to the table and see what I'm going to enjoy. And yeah, I like the deck building idea. I like the whole process of building my engine. It's something that I've always really enjoyed about deck builders. It was just that too many of them just tried to replicate the ones that came before it, and didn't really do anything on their own. And so when I play a game like Gateway Uprising, I always call it Gateway. When I play a game like Gateway Uprising, I am really excited because somebody has managed to take something that heretofore I didn't think there was really anything else new out there that was going to excite me or interest me, and then they make a game that I find engaging, and I find exciting, and I find interesting, and also as soon as I'm done playing it, I want to play it again and see if I can do something different. I really love the area control aspect of it. I like the fact that I have to protect that not only against the other players who might want the spot that I have, but also I have to worry about the random event coming and fighting me as well. I enjoy the randomness of the runestones. I think that really fits with the theme. I think it is interesting. The whole aspect of do I want to buy that? And then maybe offer up something even better to the person behind me. And as I said before, the art and the theme are very evocative and make me kind of feel like I'm telling a story and telling an interesting world, if you will. Which is strange, because usually I find deck builders to be kind of abstract, because I don't really feel like whatever they're trying to tell me or teach me, I'm really experiencing. I'm just saying, okay, I got 3 power, I got 2 gold, okay, what can I do with this? But in this one, I really felt engaged with the theme, and I don't know if that was because of the artwork or because of just the conflict that was based on, but I think the high interactivity between the players really lent itself a lot to that. It seems like way too often in deck builders, you're really just trying to build this crazy engine that gets you victory points, but in this case, the victory points are won by doing battle and also doing battle with your fellows at the table. And I really enjoyed that aspect a great deal. So if you like deck builders, and if you like area control games, and if you want to try something out that has a theme that you probably haven't seen before, I mean, yes, it is fantasy, yes, it has a little bit of sci-fi or a little bit of steampunk thrown in, but if you like that genre, I think you're going to really like Gateway Uprising, and so I urge you to check it out. All right, cool. Well, if you have any questions about the game, as always, ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. If you have any questions about deck builders or anything like that, as far as my thoughts on the genre, feel free to ask away as well. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And also, as always, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right? Okay, bye-bye.